What is going on, everyone? Thank you so much for checking out my brand new ranking video of the Terminator franchise. I got my good buddy Bill with me today.
Hi, everybody.
Who is also a big Terminator fan.
Absolutely.
And if you're a follower of mine, you know that I do a lot of ranking franchises, the films and stuff, and it's always cool to have somebody that's got something in common with you. And man, I'm glad you decided to really help me out on this one, because I'm hoping that we don't have the same opinions. But then again, we'll see how we go.
So, how do you want to do this? You want to start off? You want me to start off? Or?
No, I think what we'll do, as each and every one of you guys and gals know, there are 6 films. We're only doing the 6 films. We're not doing this series or any anime stuff. We're strictly sticking with the 6 films. And what I would like to do is start from our worst and go to our best.
Okay.
And then after we, tell why it's our worst, whatever, then give it a grade.
Okay.
But before we get going, and it's sad that people got to say this on YouTube because there's so many people out there that get mad if they don't agree with your ranking. This is just mine and Bill's opinion. You guys and gals may love the movies that we hate and vice versa, but that's what makes it fun. I love talking to other film lovers. I mean, you should hear me and Bill when we discuss Jason X
Lord.
or Halloween 3. We really I'm a Halloween 3 guy. He's a Jason X guy.
Yeah. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Jason X is a good movie as long as you don't take it serious in the Jason franchise. But that's another story.
Right. So, anyway, if you guys and gals enjoy this video after you watch it, please leave your ranking in the comments and let me and Bill know what you guys and gals think about the Terminator franchise. I mean, you may not even be a fan of it.
It's one of those, for a lot of people, it's a classic, but for some people, a lot of people just haven't seen it.
Yeah, that is true.
The first one was classified as kind of like a horror, and then it just shifted, as a lot of horror movies do, into an action.
I am so happy you said that. So before we actually get into the ranking, that was my first question I was going to ask you. Do you consider the first Terminator a horror film?
In my opinion, I actually do. Just because James Cameron said that he took a lot of inspiration from original slasher films to create the Terminator. And you can kind of see a lot of that in the dark subtleties of how he shoots the first film.
Yeah.
I would classify it as an action horror. Yeah. Not just a strict horror.
Right,
But yes, I would still consider it an action horror as opposed to a primarily action film.
Gotcha, okay. Well, if you're ready, man, I'll let you lead. Okay. You start with the number 6 and made it last. That's the worst. And then explain why, man.
Okay, so in my opinion, the absolute worst, I don't like Salvation. Salvation for me is number 6. I like the concept, but I don't feel like it was executed properly. For me, I love the fact that it was set in the future, but I don't feel that it was necessarily the future that we were promised in the other films.
Gotcha.
It was still dark. You still had Skynet coming after you, but it wasn't this bleak, dismal wasteland apocalypse that has been painted for the first 3 films. The twist at the end, I mean, you could kind of see it coming from a mile away, in my opinion.
Remind us what the twist is.
So, spoiler alert, for those of you that don't know.
Yes.
The twist is, your main character that you've been following gets executed and ends up becoming the first infiltrator Terminator, who actually succeeds and gets in where John Connor is. He later ends up sacrificing himself, but in my opinion, it doesn't feel like it really fits with everything else that we've had up to that point.
Gotcha.
For me, my ranking, like I said, it's going to be a 6, but I'd still give it at least a C. I think it's a good film, but poorly executed.
Okay. Cool. So you're giving it a C.
I'll give it a C.
Okay. So your number 6, dead last,
is Salvation.
All right.
You going to go next?
Yeah, okay. I'll go next.
Okay.
Well, coming in at number 6 for me, the worst of them all, Terminator Dark Fate. That was the biggest disappointment that I have seen in years. The fact that they started it off, spoiler alert, this is supposed to be wiping out all the other films except for part 1 and part 2.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that you start this film out with the Terminator coming back and killing John Connor wipes out all of Judgment Day. Wipes out Terminator Judgment Day.
Mm-hmm.
Then you rehash the same story, but now instead of a male lead, it's a female lead. Sarah Connor returns. After all these films, everybody was wanting Sarah Connor, and she just wasn't Sarah Connor that we remember.
Mm-hmm.
And what you did, or what you, like I'm talking to the people, what they did with the Terminator, Arnold's character, was garbage. I mean, I don't know who directed it. I don't remember if James Cameron directed it or what. I know that he was involved in it.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the best that you could come up with. I mean, Terminator 2 Judgment Day came out in 91. You've had all these years to come up with a better storyline, and you literally just say, you know what? Piss on the second one. One of the best ones of the franchise. Isn't that, yeah, all that work that went into the second one? Yeah, boo it.
Yeah,
and then you just expect us to accept that now we have a female John Connor, same exact storyline, and then even the robot, what was she? Like his protector?
So our new female Terminator, she was human, but she was enhanced.
Well, she was trash, is what she was, and the action wasn't good. The storyline, like I said, was not good. It was the same thing, just poorly executed, as you say, as the second one. Arnold was terrible in it as far as he's got a family, and you mean to tell me she didn't know that? Well, the excuse was we don't get intimate.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I will say that the main protagonist, the villain of it, he was pretty decent, but overall, such a disappointment. And I even regret buying the film. I didn't even watch it before I bought it. I just knew that James Cameron was back, Sarah Connor was back. This is supposed to wipe out all the other ones except for 1 and 2. It's supposed to be a direct sequel to 3, or part 3. And I was like, sweet. I went out and bought it, sat down with my wife and watched it, and it was over, and I was like, hot garbage. So this movie is getting, I'm giving it an F.
Ooh.
I'm sorry. And I know that's probably really low on people. They're like, oh, it's not that bad. These are my opinions. But it is one film that I will never watch again because I literally cannot think of any cool action scene that makes me want to put it in and watch it. So.
So, number 5 for me, which for me, as I was telling Johnny before we ever started, was 5 and 6 are just kind of back and forth for me.
Depends on your mood, huh?
It really depends on my mood, and I have to go number 5, Dark Fate, for pretty much the same reason. For me, the best part of Dark Fate was I enjoyed the villain. The ability that he had of having both the endoskeleton and being able to split off into 2 beings.
Yeah.
I thought that was really, really cool as far as advancement goes. Again, I think the concept is decent, but I feel like it was poorly executed. And the whole killing John Connor at the very beginning, I didn't mind it until the movie progressed. Like when I first went into it, I'm thinking, okay, they're killing our protagonist. First off, we've got a whole new storyline. And it was just a repeat. And again, potential, but it fell flat before it could ever fly.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, again, much of the same criticisms that you had for Dark Fate. That's just where I'm at. I'll give it a C. I'll put it on if I just want some noise in the background, but I'm not really going to focus on it.
Not even worth listening to the sound.
sometimes you need explosions to drown out the noise.
If I'm gonna listen to explosions, I'm gonna put a Rambo film in.
Fair point.
So that's your number 5.
That's my number 5.
And
I go back and forth.
And you gave it a C?
I give it a C just because I gave Salvation a C.
Okay. Well, my number 5 is Terminator Salvation.
Well, I mean, it is different.
Now, but here's the thing. From this point on, I do enjoy the films.
Mm-hmm.
I know what you said, the negative about the film, and you can kind of throw that back my way, so we're not going to repeat ourselves so much. But I will say that I feel like this is a good standalone Terminator film. I like that they tried something different.
Mm-hmm.
I think this would have been, not in my opinion, or not, it didn't bother me, but I think in some people's opinion, this movie would be better if Arnold would have been in it. To me, I'm glad that they kind of went away from that, and we see Christian Bale as John Connor, because I thought he did a good job as John Connor.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I did actually like the surprise where the CGI Arnold shows up all of a sudden. And I thought that was a little cool callback.
Mm-hmm.
But I do 100% get what you're saying about when I think of something after Terminator Judgment Day, you do think of more of like a Mad Max style. I mean, I don't not feel like the costumes, but I'm talking like the deserty look and stuff.
Skulls riddled everywhere, machinery everywhere.
Because that's what they showed you in the first couple.
Mm-hmm.
I think they could have added more to that, but overall, I do like the film. It's not one that I always go back and revisit. Now, if I do want to like watch these in order, I will throw it in there. But it's one of the films that I'll put it this way, and here we go. Here's the perfect way. If Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, was not called Halloween 3, everybody would like it. I feel like if this was a war movie and not Terminator, I think more people would have went into it with more open-minded.
Yeah. Like, okay, so if you'd have took, maybe renamed it instead of Terminator Salvation, maybe, and like just had that big surprise at the end where, oh my gosh, it's a Terminator movie.
Yeah.
Then, maybe, yeah, sure. But
overall, I don't think it's a terrible movie. There is a few boring spots in it that I'm like, oh, it's like, why does the bad guy have to give these lines over and over and talk and stuff? But I do think the acting was good in it. And I think Christian Bale did a good job, because Christian Bale is a good actor. And I think he did a good job as John Connor. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's not my favorite, of course, but I will give this movie, I'll give it a solid C.
C?
Yeah.
That's not bad.
No.
Oof. Mm-hmm. Nah. Spot number 4.
Yeah.
So for me, and again, my opinion, number 4 has to go Terminator 3: Rise of the Machines. And this is, again, my feelings on this is Terminator 3, in my opinion, was essentially a rehash of Terminator 2. It had a lot of things that were very similar to the same concept. You had a shape-shifting Terminator coming after a John Connor who's protected by a T-800 to the very end. Mm-hmm. Like, the only difference is instead of Sarah, you have his wife, which I can't think of her name at the moment.
Well, they weren't married yet.
Right, yeah. But to ensure the future.
Yeah.
You will be married in the future. But for me, it was essentially a rehashing of 2, which was far superior than 3. I like 3. Mm-hmm. I like the concept of 3. I like that they brought a lot of the same characters back. The psychiatrist that was in 1-2 was back in 3.
Yep. Just a small little cameo, but it counted.
Oh yeah. And I think we had a lot of action. We had a lot of good scenes, and I like the fact that we had Skynet there. Mm-hmm. But for me, it was just a rehash of 2. And if I want to watch 2, I'm going to watch 2.
Yeah.
So I'll give it a solid B minus. but I'm gonna watch 2 if I want to watch 2.
So is it B minus?
I'm gonna give it a B minus.
Okay. So that was number 4, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so my number 4 is Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines.
Oh, okay.
A lot of what you said, here's the thing that makes part 1 and part 2 so great. Practical effects. This movie was made in 2003, 2002. I know it came out in 2003.
Yeah.
That was early when CGI was getting big. That's when Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man was coming out and all this stuff. That's what hurt this film the most is now that you watch it, it did not age good with the CGI.
Agreed.
What is so bad about using practical effects and stunt people? And the fights between Terminator and the main villain, I can't remember her name. You know, when he grabs her and they're going through the wall, you can tell it's really them, but then when he's tossing her around, you can tell it's CGI. And put a stunt woman on the strings and throw her across the hall or something. But
that's their job.
But I do
support stunt people.
Yes,
support your stunt actors.
But I do agree with you. It was a hash of part 2, but it was such a. This is a fun movie for me. I do think they have some pretty good action in it, but the parts that make me just cringe is why they tried to make the Terminator funny moments. When he puts those stupid star glasses on, and then he's like, talk to the hand. The only funny part about part 2 was when he says, hasta la vista, baby, and he tries to smile. Part 1 and 2 were strictly violent action films. Well, then you went with 3, and there's nothing wrong with doing something different, but it just didn't land. I didn't really care for the actor that played John Connor. I didn't really care for the actress that played whatever her name is that eventually was going to be John Connor's wife. I love the villain.
Oh, yeah.
Not only is she hot and beautiful, but her facial expression, she reminded me so much of T-1000.
Yes.
She could have that, I'm fixing to nuke you in a heartbeat. I love how she ran like T-1000. She was bad to the bone. I just wish that it wasn't so much CGI with her during the fight scenes. But overall, I do like the movie. But I agree. It was a rehash of part 2. It did have some awesome scenes, like when my favorite scene, honestly, is when he comes out and he's carrying a coffin.
Yes.
And he's not trying to hurt any of the cops when he's like, shooting the cops and everything. And then it shows from what his view, and it says casualties 0. I like that. But overall, I do like the film. And it's one of those that I don't dread watching it, but there is parts in it that I'm just like, a little cringy. So as far as that, my grade on this, I'm gonna give it a B minus.
Now, just to clarify, just because I'm being critical of the films doesn't mean I don't like them.
Right.
So, I mean, I just want to make that clear. I do enjoy the films. I love the Terminator series. It's one of my favorite groups of movies.
But you know what's sad? Let's be real. The Terminator franchise is so mishandled that if you want my honest opinion, it should be part 1 and 2. Because they never could live up to the other 2.
No.
And we did not discuss this. I just asked Bill if he wanted to do a ranking, and we both agreed on Terminator. So I don't know what's coming next. He don't know what's coming next.
So your guess is as good as his. So what are we on? 3? Whew. So for me, 3 goes to Genesis. I enjoyed Genesis. I thought it was really good. I loved how they played with time travel. I thought it was really fun. I actually really enjoyed the fact that John got infected by Skynet and became an
antagonist.
Yes, for lack of a better term, he became the antagonist of the film. I thought that was a phenomenal concept. I actually feel like they did it really well. Would I have liked our original Sarah Connor? Yeah, but at the time, she was probably too old to reprise the younger role. And I'm grateful that they didn't try to do it in CGI her. But I thought made for a really decent film.
Mm-hmm.
It gave us that it literally gave us a repeat of Terminator 1, but redone right.
Yes.
Like they did it, and they were true to the original film.
Yes.
They didn't screw it up. It literally, like a good time travel movie, introduced the new Terminator,
mm-hmm.
Pops, and made it work really, really well.
Yes.
I love this film. I know it's one of the newer ones, and a lot of people don't like the newer ones, but I actually really love this one.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, having John as your antagonist, I thought it was beautifully executed. I have to give this one a B plus for me. I enjoyed this film. I don't mind watching it again. If I had to include one besides 1 and 2, I would probably put this in as just a in place of what they tried to do with Dark Fate.
Mm-hmm.
I think this executed what Dark Fate wanted to do a lot better, and this came out before Dark Fate. So, but that's my opinion.
I can already feel the comments coming, and the hate's gonna get me.
You or me?
Me.
Oh Lord. Do I need to leave? Do I need to?
Okay, I really struggled with my top 3.
I do not endorse this opinion.
Really struggled with my top 3. And I will say, coming in at number 3 is the original Terminator.
Ooh. 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 Let me put some space between us. I don't want that heat.
I love these top 3 I'm about to name. The Terminator, the original, the OG. Love the movie. Started it all. It's got the classic I'll be back. It's got the cool special effects. Even though you can tell sometimes that it's not really Arnold, it's still a legendary film. And I can't really say anything negative about it. I just really like this film, but I like the other 2 better. And I'll explain why later. But yes, the original Terminator for me is coming in at number 3. I do feel like it's aged pretty well, but I don't know. It's also one of those that there is a few scenes in it that I'm just kind of like, they drug that out a little bit too long. Like, I always end up finding myself fast forwarding a little bit, which I know this is part of the main story, but like the love scene.
Yeah.
I get that. But like, then when so many times that he's having to explain what's going on and stuff, and then every time you think the movie's about done, nope, he's back. Then you think, oh, that would have been a perfect ending. Oh, no, they drug it out a little bit more. He's back now for this. And love the film. I'm going to leave it at that. So, coming in number 3 is the OG, the Terminator, and I'm giving this movie, giving it a B+.
Good solid. Good solid. So, number 2 for me is actually going to be the OG Terminator. I love the film. It started it all. We had a young James Cameron as the director.
Mm-hmm.
Before it gave us the wonderful world of Avatar and Pandora, and before we have differing opinions on that too. And the one that stayed at the box office forever at number 1, Titanic. Like, I didn't even think that was ever going to be toppled.
Mm-mm.
Oh, but I agree with you. There's a lot of scenes, especially like when he's doing the surgery on himself. You can tell it's the prosthetic, and it's not actually.
But it's cool though.
But it's cool, and the fact that they made a full prosthetic head of him and going back and forth between switching the prosthetic and Arnold, it was really, really well done. And I actually didn't know this until today. The scene where they explode the tanker,
mm-hmm.
that was actually miniatures. That wasn't an actual tanker that they blew up.
Oh, okay. Right on.
Yeah, so like they just shot that as a miniature set. And you can't, I'll be honest, I never could tell.
Yeah, I didn't know that until you just now told me.
Yeah, so, spoiler alert, behind the scenes.
Fun fact.
But yeah, no, I do agree with you. There's a lot of scenes that do drag on.
Yeah.
But there's a lot, like you were saying, they could have ended Oh nope, he's back. I feel like a lot of that goes back into what we were saying at the beginning. Is that was the slasher side of it? Because how many movies were like, oh, good, the villain's dead, and he just the second return, the third return, and it's just never ending. I thought it was really well executed. Again, loved it. But it is my number 2. So spoiler alert for what's number 1. Man, I will give this a solid A minus.
A minus.
A minus.
What did I give it?
You gave it a B plus.
Did I?
Yeah.
Okay.
I give it an A minus. I thought it was really well done. Again, as one of his earlier films, like I think he'd only done Piranha 2D before this. So yeah, I tried to come prepared.
You did more than I did.
So I think he'd only done one film. So this being like his essential debut in big screen, I loved every minute of it. There were, like I said, slow parts, but I think it was really well done.
My favorite part in that movie is when he's at the gun shop.
Oh,
and he's like, "Hey man, you can't load it." Boom. Fun fact. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say. Oh, and then of course the classic "I'll be back," and then just drives the car and gives us the lovely, brutal police scene as he mows down through the.
Did you know Arnold hated saying "I'll be back"?
Really?
He tried to convince James Cameron to say. I mean, you can look it up on YouTube next time you get a chance. Arnold said that he looked at him and said, "Wouldn't it be better if he said I will be back?"
More robotic.
And he said, "No, say it, I'll be back." And he said he tried to do it again. He said finally James Cameron said, "Look, you're the actor, I'm the director. Go F and do what I told you to do." But fun fact, did you ever notice when he gets the phone book and he's looking up the Connors?
Uh-huh.
Did you ever notice that he's able to read 2 rows at a time?
I did not.
His left hand is already on Connor and his right hand is on another one.
Huh, I never noticed.
So he's got 2 different, maybe it's not 2 different Connors, but it's 2 different people that he's searching for.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, he's got his left finger already marked on one and he's doing this, and then he's like, "Ooh," and there he finds it.
Huh, I never noticed that.
Now, real quick before, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, another fun fact, and I just learned this too. Believe it or not, more women actually enjoyed the Terminator movie than men in the turnouts.
Really?
Yeah. They did a poll or something. And
that's cool.
A lot more women at the time were like, I guess it was because Arnold coming off of his big.
Probably.
Yeah, big buff dude.
There's only one part in there that I feel like Arnold messed up, and it's so small that it's just me nitpicking, but when me and my wife was watching it not too long ago, it's the scene where he goes up to the phone booth and he's getting the book.
Mm-hmm.
Go back and watch that scene. When he's walking up, it's like he forgot for a minute that he's supposed to be a robot, because when he goes up on the curb, he skips.
Interesting.
A robot would walk up and take a step.
Right.
He goes around the car and he skips up to get it. Just watch that, because that's the only scene that I looked at Carolyn when I seen it. And I was like, I rewinded. I said, "Now watch this." I said, "That's the only part I feel like wasn't a robot." And Carolyn's like, "Yeah, I could see that."
Did you know that Arnold had the idea for the character to move his eyes first and then his head? So if you ever notice when he does, because it's like a security camera, he moves his eyes first and then has his head traced to follow.
Do you know who they originally was going to get to be Terminator?
I cannot think of his name, but he played Bishop in the Aliens movies. He was also in the first Terminator movie as one of the police officers, but I cannot think of his name to save my life.
See, me and you got 2 different people in mind.
Really?
Because Arnold said originally they were going to get O.J. Simpson.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Could you imagine O.J. Simpson being that? I love him in the Naked Gun movies, but
I don't know that I could see him in this. But I did know that Cameron actually originally wanted the guy that ended up playing Wayland in the Alien series.
I have to look
played
at it,
Bishop.
I have to look at it.
Yeah.
So you just went right.
Yep, and that was my number 2.
And it's
A minus.
Okay, so going in at number 2.
My God, see where we stand here.
It's Terminator Genisys.
Okay.
I know. I can already feel the haters hating on me already. But I went to the theater and watched this film, and I thought it was executed so well. I love the main actress that played the young Sarah Connor. I thought she did tremendous. I love the backstory on how the Terminator come and saved her when she was a child.
Mm-hmm.
I love the fact that the time travel happens and they explain why he looks older, and she calls him Pops.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that he's like, my material is made of whatever and it ages. Because I was wondering when I heard he was coming back, I was like, man, they're going to have to do a lot of CGI on him. No, they just let it go. And I think this Terminator is more bad to the bone, I was going to say another word, than Part 3 and Dark Fate. And the way that they shot scenes from the first one, like you said, they paid homage to it. You could tell they were fans of the original Terminator. I thought it was wonderful. But, and this makes me so mad, and my brother, I know if he's watching this, he'll agree with me. The thing that ruined this movie is why, when the trailer came out, they showed John Connor being the bad guy.
Oh.
That's why I don't even watch trailers. I mean, seriously, I don't even like watching trailers no more. Why would you give away the biggest plot twist?
I guess it's been so long, I didn't remember that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I remember watching the trailer, and even my brother was like, why would you show that?
Yeah.
Because that would have been something in the theater that would have been like, holy crap. But besides ruining it, I think it was cool for John Connor to be the villain.
Mm-hmm.
Because all this time, he's the hero, and now he's not. And my favorite part of this movie is when the final fight's fixing to happen, and the Terminator, Pops, is in a helicopter, and he looks and says, I'll be back. And he jumps out, and that dum-dum-dum-dum-dum, dum-dum. And the CGI actually works for this movie.
Mm-hmm.
They did do practical effects on some of it, but the CGI did look good. And I like that at the end, when he's fighting, I love the final battle. But when he gets that liquid stuff on him, and now he can almost be like a T1, or what is it?
T-1000.
That's what bums me out. Is because when the movie ends, I was like, I cannot wait for because they originally had another one planned, but so many backlash on the internet, and I don't think it did that great in the box office, that they just scrapped it. But I would have loved to see now Terminator is upgraded, and then we got that stupid Dark Fate. But yeah, this one right here, if I watch these in order, it's always 1, 2, and then Genesis. Like if I had to pick the best 3, that's mine. But Genesis is just a fun movie. A lot of action. Love how the bus flips on the bridge. That's what I'm saying, man. I don't get the hate. I really don't get the hate on this, because it's almost like the Michael Myers. It's almost like the Halloween films where you can pick your timeline.
Mm-hmm.
You could do 1, 2, and 3, or you can do 1, 2 in Genesis, or 1, 2 in Dark Fate. You know, but I love Genesis, and I know people is like, I can't believe you put that over the OG, but it's because I have more fun with this film, and it's more exciting to me, and I'm giving this film, oh man, I gave the other one a B+, so this one's getting a B+ as well.
Okay.
I can't grade it over the original because I love them both so much,
right?
But the movie's going to get a B+.
Did you ever see at the end, like I think it was after the credits, that Skynet was still alive?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought that up. That's another thing that I liked. They based it on our reality. Skynet was nothing but a tablet.
Yeah, it was an app.
That is how I could really see stuff going down.
I mean, we're already almost there.
So, I mean, for real.
Chat GPT and all the other AIs.
And to go back to Dark Fate, why I hate that film is Skynet was nothing.
No.
It was trash. So, but yes, I think this one handled it great. I like the fact that they dealt with the tablet deal, the app, because that's exactly how people would really do it.
Mm-hmm.
But
there's this new big thing coming out. Everybody's excited. It's a release.
Yes.
Oh, it's amazing. It's going to change everything. Just like the iPhone.
It's like the freaking gamers. They got to get the new system.
Hey. Whoa.
To be continued. No. But anyway, so that's my number 2.
Okay. I think it's obvious what number 1 is.
I think it's number 1 on everybody's list.
Pretty much. Going back real quick, I will say this, referring back to the number 1. I will say that I enjoyed the fact that Bill Paxton was the blue-haired guy.
Mm-hmm.
Only man to ever say to be killed by a Terminator, an alien, and a Predator.
Mm-hmm.
Only man in film.
Yes.
Anyway, side note. Number 1, obviously, T2, Judgment Day. The pinnacle of Terminator movies, in my opinion.
Yes.
There's very little I can say that's wrong in this film.
Exactly.
Practical effects are done well. The casting is done well. Linda Hamilton, I remembered her name now.
Because you're talking about a good one.
Linda Hamilton. So I've got the special edition that's got all the extended stuff in it and everything. Mm-hmm. So the way, especially when they come and save her from the mental hospital.
Yeah.
One of the greatest scenes. Mm-hmm. How she freaks out. You feel like she's been living with this trauma.
Yeah.
The whole time. Phenomenal acting job. The way that during the car ride on the way home, and she yells at John, "How could you be so stupid to come and try and save me?"
Mm-hmm.
Her whole goal has been protecting him this whole time.
Right.
Just everything about this movie. And then you have Robert Patrick, I'm fairly certain that's his name, as the T-1000, one of the greatest villain ever.
Yes.
It's early CG, but it still looks good.
That's what I was fixating. There's scenes where when he walks through the bars,
mm-hmm.
you can't be like, "Oh, that looks terrible." It looks
good. Just everything. And one of the things he said is, he refused to ever reprise the role because he's afraid he would never make it look as good as he did then. And I got to respect the man for that.
Mm-hmm.
He did a phenomenal job, just his entire demeanor. When he looks at you and lowers his head and does the... you're just like, "Oh, God, I'm done. It's over." This man put fear in you, whether you were just watching or John himself. The relationship that you had with the T-800 now being the protector, and John essentially rewriting, "You're not a Terminator anymore."
Mm-hmm.
We don't just kill people. And again, like I said, they had a couple of goofy scenes, like him trying to smile. But I think it makes sense in the aspect of the film.
Well, yeah, because it's a kid trying to
humanize a machine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it makes sense, and it's played for a laugh, but it's done well.
Right.
Not like others.
Yeah.
But like I said, honestly, I don't know that I have anything negative I can say about this film. There's a few parts where I think it feels like it goes a little long, and it's just small parts. Like when she's meeting up with the guy that gives her the arms her with all the military stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that goes on a little long. But other than that, this film, in my opinion, is just quality, grade A. Spoiler alert. What a film should be.
Mm-hmm.
For me, this is number 1, and I give it a solid A.
Right on, man. Well, coming in at number 1 for me, of course, is Terminator 2, Judgment Day. And everything you said, I absolutely agree on. My opinion, this film is definitely in the top 5 greatest action films of all time. And if that franchise would have ended with this, I'd have been like, great. The acting is phenomenal. Arnold is great in this film. T-1000 is the freaking man. Like you said, one of the best villains of any movie, any genre. And one cool thing is when, I don't know if you know this or not, but do you remember when he is sneaking into the institution and he's in the checkered floor?
Uh-huh.
The officer that's getting a cup of coffee.
His twin.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. To be like, man, let's get the twins and throw them in there. Mm-hmm. That is cool. There is only one scene that, and I agree with you, when she is getting the weapons, like they're in the desert or something, she's getting that did drag just a little bit. But fun fact: did you know the guy that plays T-1000? He had worked on his breathing regimen so well that he actually was catching up to John Connor on the motorcycle.
Really?
They had to tell him to, yeah, he would give it all he got, and he would run so fast because he had to. He said when he was running, he didn't want to look like he was, because he's not a human.
Right.
But he had gotten so good at his breathing that he was able to catch John Connor on the dirt bike.
For anybody that's a running person, just mimic the way he runs. That sharp, just there is no wasted movement in his run.
Right.
Like, I didn't realize that he was actually catching John. Like, that was actually him doing it. I mean, that's phenomenal.
Yeah, look that up, because like I said, he does the interview about it, and that's what he said. He said he had to slow down because he was catching up to the dirt bike.
Wow.
A lot of practical effects in this movie. Like I said, and none of it looked cheesy. That's what the scene where he cuts his arm and he tears that off, that looks legit.
When they operate in his head.
Yes. The action is phenomenal. And one of my favorite things, the soundtrack. In this, you got your Guns N' Roses, You Could Be Mine.
Yep.
The dun 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 dun. They really played that awesome. Yes. And once again, what he said, I like that John Connor is telling him, you can't just go around killing people. So it's got another scene here where when he's shooting and everything, it always says casualties, 0. The ending is great when he looks and says, I can't terminate myself. That is, I don't care who you are. That's when grown men cry. When he pushes off and he's like, I order you to stay. He's like, now I understand why you cry. Another fun fact, and you're probably going to know this already, Sarah Connor, when it's T-1000 and you see Sarah Connor coming up the back, I didn't know she had a twin sister.
I want to say I did.
Yeah, so that was Linda Hamilton's sister, so that was cool. The only mistake I feel they made in this movie is John Connor looks to be 15 years old. If you look at the date, he's like 12.
Yeah.
I was like, no, he's not a 12-year-old.
No, he's definitely at least like 14 at minimum.
Yeah. I mean, he's still got the squeaky voice and everything. Yeah. So, but I think they should have made him just a little bit older. But yes, this film is phenomenal. I'm like you. There's really nothing to complain about. Nonstop action, great storyline, great soundtrack. And the story just develops the more it gets going. And I love action movies that's got chase scenes in it. And this has one of the best chase scenes with the diesel chasing the motorcycle.
Yes.
And T-1000 is the man.
To this day, I still want to be able to do that with a shotgun. Just
yes. Just. And here's the thing. I'll kind of use this as a comparison. Brandon Lee as the Crow.
Oh.
As Eric Draven, nobody can match him.
God rest his soul.
Yes. So every time they did a Crow sequel, what did you compare the guy to? Eric Draven, Brandon Lee.
Every time.
That's one thing that I compare every villain on the Terminator franchise. You're not as cool as T-1000.
That's right.
Cool. But that's why I like Genesis so much, because when it's John Connor, it's like, oh, that's awesome.
Right.
But anyway, love this movie, and I'm giving it a solid A.
Oh, yeah.
An A+ means to me that they can do no wrong and stuff. And it's really going to be ever hard to give a movie a full-blown A+.
But this gets close.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, here's the A+, and it's right there, man. But, yeah, I've never heard anybody say that T2 Judgment Day isn't their favorite.
Yeah. I mean, anybody that has seen it automatically Terminator 2.
Oh, yeah.
Best one.
Definitely.
Very similar to like saying, Godfather series, greatest films of all time.
I disagree with you on that one.
Oh.
It was a letdown for me.
What?
I finally watched the first two last year. The first one was good. The second one was okay, and I just skipped the third one. Didn't even watch it.
You're probably better off that way.
Yeah.
But oh man, that first one
the first one is good.
the way it ends.
But I won't. It's one of those I won't never watch again.
Oh man, I watch it at least once or twice a year. Just love it.
What?
I don't know. It's just me.
But with that being said, that is mine and his ranking of the Terminator franchise. Like I said at the beginning of this video, let us know what your ranking is. And, tell us why. And I already can feel the hate on me putting Genesis over the original, but hey, that's what we're here for, to have different opinions. Be respectful of everybody's opinions in the comment section, please. And I think me and you talked about doing the next video was going to be the Batman films. And I was going to throw this out at you. How would you feel about doing the Predator films?
Absolutely.
I want to wait till the new one's out.
Yeah, I was going to say, I would like to wait for the new one.
Yes.
But absolutely would love it.
Right on. So here in the future, we're going to be doing not only the Batman franchise, but we're going to be doing the Predator. Now, did we say we were doing we're doing the Batman films.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I was wondering, I couldn't remember if we were talking about the films or just Batman in general, like the guy. But
I think we just decided to do the films.
Yeah, because I like the films.
Because otherwise we'd have to include like the cartoons, like all the different cartoons.
Hey man, you can't. But the original
Kevin Conroy
animated series.
Oh, 90s.
I remember running home from school and just watching that. It hit deep, dude.
I did, when I was little, I had mom and dad. Again, I'm showing my age here. Get blank tapes, so that as soon as I ran in, hit it in, record, so I could have them all.
Oh, I remember when I had the blank tapes. If I recorded something like that, I'd tear the tab off where you couldn't record over it.
Yep.
But all right, well, we hope that you guys and gals enjoyed this video. I had a blast.
Oh, I loved it. Every moment.
I can't wait to do the Predator and the Batman franchise. But
if you've never seen a Terminator film, this is your opportunity. Go watch them. Maybe not Dark Fate, but go watch them. Enjoy them.
Yeah.
Tell us, again, like you said, tell us what you think. So, yeah.
Now, are you a Rambo franchise kind of guy? Not really.
I cried on the last one.
Oh.
It made me cry so much.
I can't wait.
Oh.
I already did my Rocky Balboa. Rocky Balboa is one of my favorite franchises of all time. Maybe I'll get you over here to do the Rambo as well.
Yeah.
But all right, with that being said, thank you guys and gals. As always, God bless each and every one of you. And until next time.